last three dimensions. For the recommendation, Lianne will go first, and I will discuss the business analytics and feed forward. And for the learnings and summary, Lianne will first discuss the 3 points, and I will discuss the last point.
Okay, so we will do both. Each part you will
Yes.
both do a thing. Okay. But first, Lianne will start each part. Lianne will start. Also, the advice and recommendation. Lianne starts, right?
Okay, okay, yes.
Okay. Okay, clear.
It might be useful for each piece to, because we'll be recording this as well by audio as by visual, that we introduce each other at the end of your respective parts. So as soon as I'm finished, I'm going to call you Lianne, and if you can then tell the audience that Charisse will be taking over, etc. Yeah?
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, I think we will be ready to begin then. Oh yeah, I still have to put on the recording.
Camera and the recording.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Check if everything is right.
Check.
I'll edit that all out later. Well, thank you and welcome to our presentation. We will be talking to you about XYZ company and its policies, as recommended, with certain recommendations which will be given by us, Lianne, Charisse, Aniek, Kim, Rebecca, and myself, Barend. This will be done in accordance with regulations that the school has set up via assignments, in which we were instructed to engage in international cooperation in the analysis of the XYZ manure factory. Firstly, I will be talking about the culture, the country itself. After that, we will be talking about the culture and several aspects of it. Afterwards, we'll go on to describe the company and the way it's set up internally, followed by an amount of recommendations for the company, and finishing off with our experiences. So, let me tell you about Sumatra. Sumatra is the largest island of Indonesia, 6th largest in the world, by the way, and its name translates into the island of gold. Originally, it was part of the Buddhist monarchy, but in the 6th and 7th century, it was converted to Islam thanks to a lot of Islamic and Indian traders. This will happen until the Dutch East India Company came in, who turned the country into a major producer of pepper, rubber, and several kinds of oil. Sumatra is a large gathering of mountains, mainly volcanic, of which the highest is the volcano Mount Kerinci, which leads to a lush and fertile land, rich in mineral deposits. It used to have a large rainforest, but due to corruption and illegal logging, the rainforest is mainly threatened at the moment. A lot of it is gone. The economics of Sumatra are mixed, which means that the private and government are both very crucial to the survival of the economy. It is the largest in Southeast Asia, and largely thanks to its natural deposits of gold, copper, tin, crude oil, gas, and palm oil, of which it provides over half of the world's supply. Politically speaking, Sumatra has a multi-party system in which no single party has dominance since the last regime. The country is made up of about 237.6 million inhabitants, in which the median age is around 25. That means it's very young. Concerning labor law, Sumatra falls under the Indonesian law, in which they have set legislation about minimum wages, collective bargaining, social security, working time, and dispute resolution. Now I will let Lianne take the word about the culture.
So, to add up on your overview about the country culture, I'd like to add that Indonesia is also known, has a strong historical background about Islam. It is still evident until now on the way they formulate and enact their national law. This all with basis to the religion itself. Going deeper into the culture and pertaining to the theories of Gert Hofstede, um, Indonesian culture is described as it has known that the superiors are different from the subordinates, meaning that the superior doesn't need to delegate to the subordinates, and as well as the subordinates, they must respect what the superior had decided for the organization. On the lighter note, um, the Indonesian is a collectivist society, meaning um, the an individual conforms his or her ideas to the norms of the society. It's not basing on self-actualization, but rather on the success of the group or the organization as whole, which made stronger when comparing Indonesia to countries like Japan, China, and India. In this comparison, um, Indonesia is less masculine because of the gengsi concept, that which means that the outward appearances are more important than any gain, which is not always like that, according to Hofstede. Uh, s- uh, it is the Indonesia is less masculine, meaning that the dominant values of the Indonesian society is more on caring for others and the quality of life they have. Charisse?
I will discuss the fourth dimension, which is uncertainty avoidance. For this dimension, Indonesia got a score of 48. Uncertainty avoidance measures the country's level of prediction about uncertainty and how it prepares to avoid it. It is simply the way the society deals with the unknown future. A score of 48 for this dimension only explains that the Indonesian culture is resistant to change, but forces them to work hard and follow formal rules and regulations. Dislikes aberrant ideas from people and prefers clarification and agreement rather than conflict. The fifth dimension, which is long-term orientation. For this, it deals about interrelating decisions from past experiences while dealing with the present and future challenges. For this dimension, Indonesia got a high score of 62. This means that the Indonesian culture likely believes that there are many truths. Truth depends on situation, time, and context. The last dimension is restraint. For this dimension, Indonesia got a score of 38, which explains that the culture tends to be pessimistic and does not give emphasis on leisure time. Thus, indulgence is considered wrong in the Indonesian culture. This restraint is believed to be an influence of their religion, which is Islam. Their Islamic faith requires them to pray 5 times daily, go to mosque during Fridays, fast during daylight hours in the month of Ramadan, and to dress conservatively. Their obedience and devotion to their faith just explains their culture of Islam.
Well, I will tell something about the company culture of the organization XYZ. Well, after having read the case, it can be concluded that the Islamic faith is important to the organization XYZ, and the organization considers it important that the employees propagate the faith and believe in God's blessing. Because the organization is located on the north end of the island, where the Islamic faith is predominant, it explains why the organization adheres to these norms so strictly. Loyalty, honesty, and discipline are the three most important values to XYZ. This portrays that the organization demands a lot of the employees. However, the organization XYZ does offer many facilities, such as school for the children, housing, and sports facilities. This ensures that many people want to work for XYZ, and becoming employed is always considered as a struggle. It is remarkable how leadership at the pinnacle of the organization is arranged. five-person made up of directors makes the strategic decisions. These are supervised by a board of commissioners. What is remarkable about this is the way it implies mistrust from the top down, which spreads into every level of organization. As long as subordinates are constantly monitored, they will never develop any significant kind of initiative. However, this is one of the values that XYZ attempts to strive for, yet does not seem to achieve. Also not worry about the pursuit of employee initiative is it is cultural not viable. A cultural analysis demonstrates that taking and showing initiative is not stimulated in the Indonesian culture. It is expected of employees to wait for explicit instruction. The mistrust that was mentioned before originates from two important aspects of the culture. Firstly, a high amount of power distance, in which it is expected that subordinates are inferior to the leaders and must strictly follow their leads. The second aspect is that of uncertainty avoidance, where following a strict set of instructions is considered proper and aberrant ideas from people are discouraged. Considering the analysis used by Cameron and Quinn, it can be stated that XYZ as an organization has a hierarchical culture. In this culture, there is a need for stability, controllability, and clarity. Work is strictly organized and takes place according to rules and procedures. They also show a slight tendency towards market culture, where the needs for stability and controllability are shared, but the focus is placed more towards employees and customers. I will now give the word to Lianne for the advice and recommendation.
Now, going to the first recommendation I have formulated, it is a marketing term called backward integration. In this backward integration, it means that the organization uh, is the one who would create something for them to create also their own raw materials. And for the company XYZ, since the problem encountered was the gas shortage, um, which ironically, the two plant sites of the company is near the largest oil fields in the country. They may use this backward integration. They may turn either or one of the plants into the into their primary source of oil in order to produce or in order for them to generate energies, or they may use this to create their products. And there, Charisse.
For the implementation of talent management in XYZ company, we, the researchers, recommend that business analytics should be applied to the talent management. By using the employee data, the executives, managers, and analysts will be able to determine which needs or issues should be addressed immediately or be focused on, and also to predict what may happen in the future. Employee retention is one of the challenges encountered by most Indonesian companies. If XYZ is not able to implement talent management successfully, it will be difficult for the company to retain their high-performing and talented employees. We think that the answer to this challenge is talent analytics or business analytics. With talent analytics or business analytics, the human resource will be able to identify which employee needs retention activities most by reviewing their performance ratings. According to Davenport, Harris, and Shapiro, a company can use analytics to calculate what employees value most and create a model that will boost retention rates. Such a model can help managers design personalized performance incentives, assess whether to match a competitor's recruitment offer, or decide when to promote someone. For the implementation of performance management, our recommendation is to use feed forward instead of feedback in performance appraisal. The employees of XYZ company are continuously dissatisfied because they feel that the salary increase does not correspond with their actual performance. Performance evaluation results do not reflect the employee's actual performance. The answer to this problem is to change the current performance management. However, the case explained that the employees dislike the idea of implementing performance management system because of the fear of a more stringent system and firing of low achievers. In order to eliminate the fear of the employees, we recommend the use of feed-forward in performance appraisals. Also, the goal of feed-forward is to avoid the loss of face, which is the culture in Indonesia. Unlike in feedback, where the manager has to focus on a failed past, feed-forward focuses on the future and on giving advice to help the person become successful. In feed-forward, the employee has something to look forward to when dwell on the fear or embarrassment from negative feedback. Next, we'll be discussing about the summary of learnings and experiences. And Lianne will discuss the first one.
Oh, so the first one, we have learned through the Skype meetings, virtual meetings, that to communicate and cooperate well, despite having different cultures and languages, communicating and cooperating was never a hindrance to attain the tasks that are expected from us. Second, we learn to fill out gaps when other members are not available for the scheduled virtual meeting. Messages and the tasks are still disseminated properly, and all group mates are responsible for each of the tasks. Third one, we have also realized these past virtual meetings is not just about communicating well, but also having fun while doing the work. With all of the little chit chats and jokes, which really made there you go, that made you laugh. It made the hard tasks easy for a while. Charisse. Charisse.
Okay, please go on.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Charisse.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
For the learnings and experiences of the Filipino team, we learn how to understand and accept the ideas of others through virtual communication. During our Skype meetings, we have encountered unclear discussions and miscommunication, but in the end, we were able to make things clear and ensure that the ideas of each group member are not heard. And though we find that face-to-face communication is easier than virtual communication, we learned that virtual communication has also its advantages, and one of the advantages is that the exchange of information through emails is more convenient because we can access our emails anytime and anywhere. And since this is our first experience to do a case study with partners abroad, we consider this as a very big opportunity to learn new things and meet new people.
Great. We seem to have missed a small part of the presentation, but I think we'll just fill in. That's no problem. We'll just keep going from there.
I'm going to tell something about our conclusion and recommendations. The way XYZ portrays itself is not in accordance with what they do. This is a form of window dressing. The case describes how the improvement of technology will heavily influence human worker pools. This will mean that the need for human labor will decrease, leading to an outflow of employees. Reversely, we can see that there is an increasing interest from local workers to become employed by XYZ, caused by an excellent selection of employee benefits. The increased interest means that XYZ will be able to set its demands of the employed workforce higher than before. The values XYZ strives for are not backed by their actions. This is apparent from the core value show initiative. The Indonesian culture, as analyzed in the country culture analysis of Sumatra, disapproves of change, strictly follows set rules and procedures, and dislikes aberrant ideas. The way work is executed by XYZ employees is also looked upon with distrust. This originates at the top tiers of the company and permeates throughout every other layer. An example is the way the Council of Commissioners double-checks all the decisions and choices made by the Board of Directors. What also heavily influenced the aforementioned mistrust and lack of synchronicity between values and execution is the Indonesian concept of gengsi. This is inherent to the culture and means that Indonesians place a lot of value on the way that they are perceived, regardless if this is in accordance with the way they actually are. Our recommendations can be boiled down to a single point: do what you say. The connection between what the company does and what it says it does must be made. To enable this, the focus must be laid on the core value initiative. There are 3 parts to this recommendation. Firstly, XYZ should implement talent management in their recruitment process. The preferred qualities can be emphasized during the selection of new employees. This will enable XYZ to recruit employees who will possess initiative, which is in accordance with what the company wishes to exude. This way, an accordance can be created between the core values of the company and employee talents. Secondly, during employment, the various talents and employees within XYZ should be developed, partly to create a connection between the organization and its talented employees. The goal is to maintain the talent within XYZ in line with the principles of talent management. An extra effect of this development is that XYZ comes closer to actually achieving and maintaining the proper expression of its core values. Another way that, for example, initiative within the company can be improved is by reducing severity and need for procedures and rules. This creates a safer environment in which initiative can be displayed without fear for overstepping boundaries and not following procedures. The last part of the recommendation focuses a bit more on short-term events concerning XYZ. Because of the technological advancement, a certain, as of yet unknown amount of employees must be let go. Currently, there are still functions that are fulfilled by multiple employees, which at least partially will disappear. We recommend that XYZ allows the employees who fulfill such double functions to solicit again for their function. In this way, the best employees with talents that are in accordance with XYZ core values can be retained. And Rebecca will tell something about our summer experience and lessons learned.
From a cultural perspective, it is noticeable how we are predominant during the conversations, sometimes even slightly too much. Contrarily, the students from the Philippines were a lot more clear-cut in the documents exchanged, and their overall quality of content was highly praised. Despite the Skype connections and unpredictability, both teams did not give up and kept pursuing ways to continue proper communication. The time difference, though a nuisance, proved to be nothing more than that. To do both teams' flexibility, it was also always possible to properly communicate via email and meet up for a conference call. Due to technological issues, some of the messages that were attempted to be conveyed had to be clarified in the email afterwards. It was a good thing that both teams recognized when it was happening and decided to take steps to avoid miscommunication. We would like to thank Charisse and Lianne for the cooperation. And this concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's the best part of that done.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
How'd it go, Theo? I'm going to turn off the camera.
We're just turning off